Oh, Chris is here. Hold on.
As we go live. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Hashtag Raid Week Wednesday with Hashtag Progression.
Hashtag Progression. Welcome, guys. Welcome back.
With me, as always, is my good friend Ethan right here, Rady.
Hey, guys.
AJ and Chris, McShield and Binders, are here.
What up?
Oh, there's AJ. Where's Chris?
I'm here. Who's this Binders you speak of, though?
Okay,
It's
sorry.
all Saki now.
Saki, sorry.
Hey.
Changed his character. Whatever. Doesn't matter. How you guys doing tonight? I'm looking forward to another excellent episode of Raid Week Wednesday. Also, if you guys haven't already seen the first episode or weren't with us last Wednesday, make sure you guys check out youtube.com/hashtagprogression. You guys can check out the first episode there. We will definitely not be doing another 2-hour episode again. I think for the first time we were just kind of trying to just talk as much as we can because it was our first go. But this time we're going to try and cut it down to about an hour and
It's like a big bang.
half at most, yeah. Welcome, guys. We're excited to share with you what we've learned over the week, and maybe you guys haven't been keeping up with patch notes and hotfixes and all this stuff. So we're here to inform you on that. And if you guys have any questions, make sure to throw them into the Twitch chat for me, and or for all of us, and we'll make sure to get back to you on those as soon as we can during the show. So let's start off with the first, very most important thing.
I saw this. I saw you add this recently, and I didn't even notice.
The very most important thing is, ladies and gentlemen, we can place cooking fires now.
Is that number one? Is that really number one?
That's
This
number
is what
one.
makes or breaks your raids now, right
Dude,
here.
my RP is going to be like immersion top tier now, because I was sick of putting down a fire and it would like end up behind me. Like, come on, really?
Yep.
It was a bit ridiculous. So, I mean, I'm really looking forward to that. I think Blizzard's really putting in those really important QOL changes,
Yeah, we talked about this too. I brought it up last Wednesday. It's just these small changes, man. It's important. I mean, people might not expect much out of these small changes, but I mean, players that have been around for a while, it's nice to see them actually do updates that, to us, they're important. They're definitely important.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see.
And it's like, when you look at it as like a patch note, you can place fires now. It's a little underwhelming. Like, you're just like, okay, cool, whatever. But as soon as you go to place your first motherfucking fire, you're hyped. Like, you are.
This is what we're leading with, huh? Cooking fire, huh?
That's,
All right.
I think we started on the strong foot. No.
No one has any idea who I am, but no, it's cool. Cooking fire. We're going,
Yeah,
I guess.
we had to get the
I'm
first one
just
out
a
the
random
way.
dude that showed up. And
So for those who don't already know Sake, if you guys aren't guild members listening, this guy is matter of fact, go ahead, introduce yourself, sir.
all right, well, my name's Chris, aka Sake. I'm a resto shaman in the guild. I've been AJ's roommate for the better part of 10 years, which I think makes us legally married in certain states, something like that. So I got pulled into World of Warcraft way back in, what was it, 04, 05, somewhere in that range. Way back in vanilla, AJ pulled me in and cut my teeth as a raid leader in end of Burning Crusade and into Wrath. AJ was the main tank there. And then he's giving the guns right now. He's pretty excited about that. And then, I've always kind of been a DPS. I came up as a hunter, and then most recently a mage. But shaman's always kind of been my secondary class.
He likes pizza,
I do love pizza.
cuddling,
Ice cream
and
parties.
ice cream parties for sure.
Oh my God.
Who doesn't?
He's a Rocky Road guy.
It's true.
Is he
And
really?
Or chocolate. You gotta get a little spice in your life. A little Rocky Road in your ice cream.
When I come up to Orlando, I'm gonna bring some Rocky Road, like, because
I now like you that much better.
I love Rocky Road. That's my shit,
I
man.
feel this past 2 minutes is just as exciting as cooking fires.
Hey,
I don't know.
To
Cooking
me,
fires are pretty good.
this is way more exciting. Although I am excited as the spirit buff you can get from cooking with cooking fires. That game breaking.
Yeah, true. Yeah, actually, that's a good point, Ethan. I don't think we've ever introduced ourselves.
We're like mystery men in this world right now.
Who are these people talking?
So wait, what did you guys talk about for 2 hours last time? Then?
Oh man.
6.0.
6.0.
It was just
I
all
figured like an
6.0.
hour and a half of that would be Michael talking about himself.
It was an hour and 57 minutes to be exact. Okay. So yeah, let's go around the room here and introduce ourselves. AJ, you wanna lead off there?
What's up? I'm AJ. I play McShield. I have played many alts, but we're back on the Warrior, main tanking for Warlords Draenor. Excited about it. You're all on patrol with McShield.
With McShield, of course.
You're all on a ride along.
You're in the back of the cop car.
Been playing since vanilla. Chris just kind of gave the history. I'm not going to repeat it. I'm a cool guy, and I'd like to do cool guy things.
McShield.
Hashtag cool guy things.
Ethan.
Oh boy. Oh yeah, I'm not gonna get too far into it. Hey guys, Hey guys, I'm Ethan. You guys might know me in game as Ricardo or Ratty from the other server that we used to be on. Very extensive background. I mean, I've been playing video games since the very first Diablo, into Warcraft 3. I'm sure many of you guys played Dota, Footman Frenzy, even some just basic ladder matches and stuff. Grew up on those things. Came into World of Warcraft as soon as the game launched through my brother. Upon that, I've just been playing ever since. I've been a huge fan of raiding. In my time, I like to think I've at least ran 2 successful raiding guilds that are very top tier. Other different games that I've led with some friends like Guild Wars 2, Star Wars: The Old Republic. I'm just in that world, that MMO world. I love it so much. It's just a huge hobby of mine, and I'd like to at least express that and talk about it more through Raid Week Wednesday and different things like that with everyone here.
All right. Well, I guess that leaves the most important person in the room.
Boo.
My name is Mike. My character name is Eindris. I'm on Trollbane Alliance, as the rest of us are. I play a DPS warrior. I've been playing the game since like late BC. Ran around as like a dwarf paladin in holy spec with wreck gear, trying to tank, and I had no idea what I was doing. Wrath, I just did PvP. I did a little raiding towards the end when 335 hit, so that was like my actual first raiding experience, was the very end of Wrath, and I didn't even touch heroics. Cataclysm, I went back to PvP again, and I literally didn't touch raiding until Mogushan Vaults. When it came out at the beginning of Pandaria with a guild of mine, and we ended up disbanding after not being able to pass the first trash mobs that turned you to stone. So that was that was that guild, and then I came back here maybe 6 or 7 months into Siege of Orgrimmar, and I found this guild back on. What was the name of this?
The old Wormrest.
Ye old Wormrest, thank you. Wormrest Accord. It was actually Ethan's friend that found me in trade chat, offered me a spot. I was the worst raider alive, and now I'm a god tier warrior because my life revolves around deli meat, World of Warcraft, and just the warrior class in general.
That's your life.
It really
Not
is.
just any deli meat either.
It's Boar's Head.
Boar's Head.
Big shout out to the channel to Boar's Head.
Yep.
You know what's up.
That's
Anyone's
good
looking
food.
to sponsor this podcast, this live stream, by the way, Boar's Head. Michael's got your back. So
Yeah, I'm best sponsor right here. Like, you hit us up. Oh, look, Boar's Head is in the Twitch chat. Eindris the Lord. Thanks, Lights Charge. So yeah, I mean, like I said, I've been playing the warrior since like late Cataclysm. I started PvPing it, and then when I actually came back during Siege is when I got, like, I don't know what it was, but I just got so enveloped in the warrior in general. I just started playing warrior, and I did whatever I could to learn about the class. Got into the whole deep theory crafting of the class, and I broke top 700 warriors in the world in 6 months.
Okay, you're great. Let's move on.
So I also
You're
like to
great.
mention my
You're a
DPS is the best in the guild.
My E-Peen is dragging across the floor right
We're
now.
good.
All right, it's fine. Let's continue. So let's start off with what we've got coming up immediately. November 7th and 8th, Friday and Saturday, we have BlizzCon. Huge event. Really excited. What do you guys think?
I think it'll be fun. I think we've talked about getting a ticket and watching some live stream BlizzCon stuff.
Yeah, I did get the ticket, so, I mean, I told you earlier I got the time off from work, so I may or may not...
Why don't you swing on down here to Orlando?
Yeah, 1 ticket, 3 guys. Not bad.
Sounds like a party.
That sounds inappropriate, actually.
It definitely sounds inappropriate.
But yeah, so that
One
could be a thing. I'm looking forward to the in-game goodies. They're hooking us up with some StarCraft portraits, the Hearthstone cards. We got the Hearth Steed. That was actually included. I think they're bringing it back out so people can get it again. I'm not sure what that thing is for Diablo because I don't play that game. And we get the Garrosh Hellscream. What are those things called? Murloc, little baby Murloc, with little baby Gorohal and everything. So totally looking forward to that. If you haven't gotten your ticket, get it. The virtual ticket. It's already sold out live. And actually, they just announced that they're going to be having Metallica play the closing show. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm not a rock or metal or roll whatever fan, but Metallica's pretty sweet.
I think Metallica's thirsty for that money. Is
Yeah,
what I think.
I think Metallica's well has been drying up a little bit, and hashtag not the 90s anymore.
Yeah, pretty much.
I still like them though. They're pretty good.
Oh, it's gonna be cool. I just think it's a weird match, but I'm into it.
Yeah,
I
why
mean,
not?
I guess the music kind of fits, you know, their style of
The
music.
whole Horde theme,
Yeah.
kind of. I don't know. I like it. I'm looking forward to it.
What's the last thing Metallica even came out with? The last thing I can think that they did was that where they got with the San Francisco Orchestra and they did that whole CD with like some of their classic songs backed up by the orchestra.
They came out with that movie last year, a couple years ago, but it was like a concert movie that had a story at the same time.
So kind of like trying to redo Spinal Tap type deal.
But not funny.
Not funny.
I'd also like to note that I've by saying I like Metallica, I've listened to one song, and it happened to be the song "One" because that was on Guitar Hero.
So you listen to one song.
Yes.
Heyo.
Can we get him out of here, please?
I'll see
Security.
myself.
Also, if you guys haven't, or if you guys plan on transferring any characters, faction changing, guild transfers, guild faction changes, anything like that, 25% off. Fuck you,
Yep.
Chris. So that's going to be happening until October 29th. So you guys got 1 week, 25% off.
Actually, they just did recently. I think within like the last hour. I haven't seen them in forever, but they're doing the free character migrations too for certain servers.
Oh, okay,
I don't know if you
cool.
just saw that. They
No, I
opened up
didn't.
I think it was about, I'd say like 10 servers to 10 destinations, but I'm sure it doesn't apply to anyone in here. But if
Yeah.
you guys have anyone on those servers and you're looking to move, doesn't hurt to look.
Yep. Definitely check out. Maybe you guys want just like a change of scene before the new expansion. Hit up another guild. You know, take a look at the free character migration, and then if not, you get your transfer 25% off. What else do we have coming up? We have the BlizzCon arena tournament. Yes, I'm looking forward to that too. I think this is going to be the first arena tournament I've watched since what year are we in? We're in 2014, so probably about 4 years. So
Wow.
I'm actually looking forward to it. Like I said, I mean, back when I actually PvP'd, like in Kata and like Wrath was obviously arenas, but Kata is when I started doing RBGs because it's fun as fuck. So I really wasn't into the whole arena thing. I think what got me back into the whole PvP thing and hype for WoD PvP, like Ashran and stuff, was actually Umi. Like, I don't know, we just spent like hours and hours talking about, like, I don't know, kind of almost nostalgic PvP fights that we've seen and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to the World Championships coming up.
Honestly, I mean, I've seen it a bunch of times. It's pretty competitive. I mean, it's extremely competitive the way
gets
these guys
nuts.
play in the arenas. Yeah, it's nuts. I'm looking more towards, like, you know me, I'm big on the PvE side, as I even said earlier today. So I'm looking more towards to see what they're even gonna introduce at BlizzCon. But all those secret things they may have hidden. I'm looking forward to hearing about Heroes of the Storm. Anything
Oh,
about
yeah.
that. I haven't seen too much. I've been crossing my fingers that I get a beta key. I've kind of kept myself away because since there's no, like, I feel like there's no, I don't know anything about ranking systems or anything like that yet. I don't know how serious they're going to be. I'm kind of just waiting to see what they release with BlizzCon.
You're not in the alpha, you said?
No, I wish I was.
Yeah, I've been in the alpha. I feel bad because I've been in the alpha for like months and I've only played it once.
No, I don't blame you then. I'm like, even if I had the alpha, I'd probably try it a little bit, but I'd kind of stay away until the game actually launched so I get the full feel for it
I think-
rather than just
I feel like
It's
I think I was reading something earlier saying about Blizzard like saying, "Oh, we're never gonna wipe the alpha from this point on." And then ended up wiping it. So like, I mean, I'm kind of scared for something like that, like to invest all the money into it, because like the bundles, man, the bundles get you. They really like every fucking time they get you. Like, oh, save save $10, and you're like, oh wow, I'm actually saving money. Like, but no.
You're not. You're just spending more
You're
essentially.
just spending more, exactly. But I mean, I can't help. Like, you've seen what I've done with my League of Legends account. That's like almost $2,000 down the tubes, so it's kind of bad. Heroes of the Storm will get me eventually, but for now,
I
sticking to the WoW.
played League of Legends for a good week and decided that I'm terrible, and that was good. That was enough.
But eventually, we'll get him back on. We'll record it and we'll post it on YouTube so you guys can see how shit he is.
We're gonna
There
do
you go.
like a sick training montage,
Yeah.
like in Rocky Five.
It's like, hey, AJ, check this bush. All right, show me how you do it. Walks into it, face check, dies.
Dead.
Next time, warding totem. It's free. But
I've never played League of Legends, so I have no idea what these guys are talking about right now.
oh
The
shit,
co-
we're gonna carry him too.
With Legends in it?
With Legends, yeah.
They are.
Yeah, of course.
There we go.
All right, what else we got on this list?
In game. Let's talk about Hallow's End. It was like a big one that just came out
yeah.
recently.
That's right. Tell me about it. I haven't done anything about anything to do with Hollow's End recently, so I know nothing about it.
Well, I mean, if you've ever done it in the past, it's very similar to everything that has happened in the past. To be honest, I haven't even done much this time around. I had a prior account to the one I have now that I've completed a lot of my seasonals on, and after I couldn't get that account back, so I was stuck doing a new account, and nothing looks appealing to me with the stuff I've already done, essentially. But I mean, there's this typical stuff you see in the ends, like the candy buckets that give you different treats, the apple bobbing that you see that gives you those little apples and stuff that 3% to healing and mana and whatnot.
If you're leveling up, those candy buckets are actually a really decent chunk of XP each one you're
Yeah.
at.
Yep.
That's the most useful thing I've found from it.
Oh yeah, I mean, the nice thing about like a lot of the holidays is that they usually give something like that to benefit towards leveling or any just maybe your cosmetics or a buff, just anything like that to just benefit you, which is always nice. I love holidays specifically for that reason. But
Well, I do know in years past there's even been I want to say like when right after Pandaria first launched there was like a must-have helm for healers, but I guess just being at the end of the cycle there's not much that's going to come out right now, so I guess it's just All Hallows End just falls on that weird we got nothing going on for a month until everything restarts kind of thing.
Yep. No, yeah, definitely. I mean, like, that's what I was kind of a little curious about. I mean, what could they add to Hallow's End maybe to make the appeal worth it? I mean, it's literally the same stuff. If you guys have done the quests, like you go light the scarecrow outside of Undercity, the stink bombs, Headless Horseman's back around. You have to be 90. That's the only thing different now. They still have that thing going on in the Alliance side with Goldshire and all the different major towns, and even on the Horde side as well with the towns caught on fire, and you got to go do the quest for those.
And I think the Headless Horseman, if you queue up for just the Headless Horseman, he gives you like a 540 piece.
Yep.
So it's not
Yep.
bad if you're gearing up. It's worth doing.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's those pets and stuff too. I think they have, the thing is this time around, I think they have way more pets than before. I'm not 100% sure, but I think there's not way many more, but there's like a couple new ones. There's costumes and stuff you can pick up now. I don't know if you guys saw the 1,000 treat reward Lich King costume. That was pretty cool. They have just some other ones for your pets and stuff as well, but that Lich King costume I thought was pretty cool when I saw it. But there's masks and stuff again. There's nothing really much going on besides what they've released before. But if you like the seasonal events, it's worth it.
I say we make it a guild requirement that all tanks have to tank in the Lich King costume.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be kind of cool.
Fair.
Now,
Done. Chalk it up.
now, also, I'd like to show everybody another thing that was actually just recently posted on MMO Champion. They released a model for a new mount that's going to be coming in Warlords of Draenor called the War Raptor. So
Oh boy.
I'm actually gonna throw that on the screen there for you so you guys can see. It's actually if Vol'jin was a dinosaur, this would be him. So I think that's a pretty cool looking mount.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it?
Yeah, that's incredible looking.
they kept the same like looking model for the rest of the troll mounts, but like I don't know. At least they updated the textures on it in general, so I think it looks pretty cool. I think it if it fits the theme. I like it a lot, but I hope it's not horde only.
It's gonna be super bouncy though. I can't get into raptors. Too
Yeah,
bouncy.
I've never been able to get into raptors just because they're too bouncy for me.
Yeah.
Of course, now my dwarf walking model is really bouncy as well, which
True. So is Ethan's.
A lot of the models, the gnomes, yeah, a lot of them are bouncy.
Actually, humans are kind of too. I was
Little
looking-
bit. Little bit.
I was watching Eindris run. I'm watching him right now. Actually, Eindris is running, and he has no pants on. He's got no shirt. He's just got like a leather chest and shoulder on, and he's pretty bouncy. He looks a little too fast too. I don't know what it is, but I don't know. He just looks a little too fast.
I think they went for that whole like more realistic side of look, more kind of flow with the run, but instead of getting that flow with the run, everyone's just bouncing like they're hyped up on candy or something like that.
Yeah,
So.
it looks kind of like if you ever see a little kid run, and they're at that point where they're going faster than their legs can actually carry them, and they're starting to tip over. That's what all
That's how
the
I feel to
small
know.
classes look like now to me. Like, yeah, I was running around when we were raiding last night, and just every time I moved, it was like, oh my god, like everything was shaking.
All right, so I want to show off some other stuff that Blizzard just posted last night. Actually, they showed us some of the characters, models, and NPCs and monsters that we're going to be encountering when we get to Gorgrond. I'm going to bring up this first one. I believe from what it looks like, it seems as if this is going to be like a new like kind of race, I guess. Right here. The Botanai, I'm assuming is how it's pronounced. It says here, slender, deliberate, and calculating, these enigmatic living trees single-mindedly tend to the wilds of Draenor. So maybe some sort of... They're basically like, what are those things called? The Ancients of War, but this is of Draenor.
I don't trust them.
I think they look really cool. And for some reason that picture really resembles, I feel like, a screenshot that I saw of Wildstar.
Oh man,
It looks so Wildstar-y, doesn't it?
yeah, it really does. Uh-oh, is this Wildstar Parts 2?
I hope not.
Wildstars of Draenor?
Star Wednesday.
Wildstar Wednesday, there we go. But yeah, I think it looks really cool, and I really like the fact that they're really kind of going beyond what we expected for each zone. I think each zone really fits like to the T what it's meant to be. Like if you go to a snowy zone like Frostfire Canyon or whatever it's called, it's like hellish Antarctica status shit. But then when you go to like Gorgrond, it's like you're inside of Ysera's stomach. Like that's what I would imagine. Like it's just like this big tropical, vines and trees growing everywhere. Everything's made out of like plants, and I think it's pretty cool.
Yep.
Ooh, what is this? This is called the Infested.
Hey, Nextinus. I see you in the chat.
This one is called the Infested. Says here, the Botanai have long cultured unique plant life in their irrigated ponds or tree dwellings, but far more terrifying is their ability to cultivate flora with a living host. Unwary natives are captured and seeded in an agonizing process that alters their physical makeup and takes complete control over their bodies, turning them into mindless walking saplings.
2 notes.
Whoa.
What is...
1, I don't trust them.
No, he was pretty
2,
friendly.
did they rip them off from The Last of Us? Because they look exactly ripped off like a cartoony version. of The
They
Last-
use the
hate
same
those things.
character model as the ghoul. They have like the big it's the one that has like the tentacle heads coming out of it or whatever. No, it's fucking Festergut and Rotface. That's what it is. They just remodeled it a little bit to like fit that. But that's the same stance, same posture, everything.
Anyone out there? Mushrooms turning into people. People turning into mushrooms. Someone out there played The Last of Us.
Oh man, clickers.
I actually
That's
haven't
what they
played it
were.
yet.
Oh,
Yeah.
I hated the clickers. Oh man, when you got wait, this isn't The Last of Us. I can go on for days.
That
on
game's
that game.
amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
All right.
Scariest scene, hotel. When you're in that base, like the basement, you fall off the elevator. Did you play through most of it, or is it?
Yeah, I beat it. Yeah, it was,
Okay, yeah, that was the scariest part of the game to me. So I was playing that in the dark by myself, and it was just scary. I don't know how I got through it, but this isn't Last of Us stream, so.
All right, so let's bring up number 3 here. We're going to get rid of this. This one right here. I think this guy looks pretty freaking cool, actually. This one is called the Genisar. Genisar are enormous demigods who date back to the age of colossals when giants shaped the terrain of Draenor amidst constant warfare.
That's
The
actually
boats-
I'm just to interrupt you. That model is surprisingly common in this coming expansion. It looks like it wouldn't be because they're just big looking guys walking around, but you'll see them in the instances to come. I mean, I'll explain that at a
There's
further
no
time.
such thing as like an uncommon fucking character model with Blizzard.
I don't know,
If
man.
they can reuse it, they're gonna.
All right,
Well, you
well,
know- and jumping in on that really quick, 2 things. 1, I don't trust them, and 2,
Very true.
2, I'm kind of surprised the art direction they took going into Warlords of Draenor, because I was thinking we'd see, especially knowing Blizzard and like you just mentioned, their propensity to use prior models, like uncorrupted versions of things we saw in TBC is kind of what I was expecting to see. So to see like, and I know the landscape somewhat is changing and so on and so forth, but to see the fact that they're borrowing from other games instead of their own is quite interesting to me.
Well,
Yep.
no. You said that what we'd see was things pre-TBC. The way that the storyline works is we're going back in time, and the reason everything doesn't look like it does in TBC is because they did not fall to Manaroth. They didn't give in to drinking the blood. They didn't allow the Burning Legion to come to Draenor because the plan for Sargeras and Kil'jaeden was, instead of sending an army in like they did on every other planet while they were tracing the Janai, instead of sending in an army to try and just siege the planet, they would use an already existing what's the word I'm looking for? Race. Thank you. You're welcome. And so basically what he did was Kil'jaeden originally corrupted Ner'zhul using an image of his deceased wife. He fell to her, thought it was the real thing. Turns out it wasn't. He was pissed, said "fuck you, Kil'jaeden," and left. But Kil'jaeden had an apprentice, Gul'dan, who only wanted power. So, seeing as Kil'jaeden promised it to him, that's what he did. He corrupted the orcs, or at least attempted to. Corrupted some of them, had his own clan, obviously. Got the whole demon blood thing going. But now that Garrosh is in Draenor, back with his father, but with the knowledge he has from our current timeline, they have access to all these other machines of war and weaponry, like the Iron Star, which is like the one thing he's famous for.
I think that's all fair and good. I think the point Chris was trying to make, though, is knowing Blizzard and what they do, instead of just reskinning or recoloring stuff that was in the Burning Crusade, they actually went and created unique-looking creatures for the expansion.
Yeah, as opposed to like, because while the history you're going on is all good, I was referring more to the stuff that's just out there. Like, for example, the Sporgar people. What the orcs did had nothing to do with how they turned out. And so the fact that we're not seeing like recolored and repurposed Sporgar is interesting to me.
I don't know anything about the Sporgar.
I know I don't trust them.
Yeah, I don't trust them either.
There
Don't
you go.
trust them.
I,
That's all that matters.
I don't know anything about the Sporgar. Otherwise, I feel like I'd be able to give you an answer. I'm gonna look it up, and definitely next week we'll probably touch back on that just to see exactly why it is we're not seeing what we have in the TBC.
We're gonna jump back on stream on Saturday. We're gonna do Sporgar Saturday. We're just gonna do
Sporgar
a good,
Saturday.
solid, probably bang out 4 or 5 hours.
on
Get
Sporgar.
real in depth on Sporgar.
On that one faction that no one ever got exalted with.
Yep, of course. Yep, and here's the last image from Gorgon here. There we go. Now this guy looks kind of interesting. Looks like Ethan on a good day. This guy is called Goran.
Ooh, he does look like me.
While the Gran and Magnaron shape the world through their brute individual strength, the Goran are the scavenging opportunists who dart unseen between the lumbering feet of their larger cousins. Okay,
Nice.
so they're related to the Gron. Oh, cool.
Something
Yes,
about
that
this guy.
is.
This guy I trust.
He does look like he could drop some fat beats in a pinch. That
Don't
is-
think he looks like he's about to drop like the sickest rhymes of 2014.
He's got that hand out in front of him. He's ready to go.
Yo, I have
he's
Sauron
good.
eyes in there too. That's like Lord of the Rings written all over it.
It really does, actually. I'm not gonna lie, it does. Look at the textures on that. What's meant to be molten rock? That looks like shit.
It's a really large underbite.
It just looks like shit. Like, look at the rocks on the face, like pointing towards his feet. Garbage.
How do you know that's molten rock? Is that molten rock?
Do you not see like the lava?
Yeah, yeah, but in our for all you know, that's just rocks with orange mineral texture on the inside of it. Yeah, just something inside of it. Like you don't know that's molten.
Regardless, the texture's ugly. Like, you're trying to deviate from my point here. I'm trying to tell you, fuck you, Blizzard. The texture looks ugly. All right. So now that we've gone through the what's titled "Beasts of the Savage Lands" Gorgron, let's move on to our next little topic here, and we're gonna head into before we're actually gonna cover some of the dungeons today, guys. That we're going to be seeing in Warlords of Draenor. But first, I want to go over some of these hotfixes that we've been seeing here.
Oh boy.
Mainly the ones that came out yesterday. I think they posted them yesterday.
They added some of them
patch
yesterday.
6.602, yeah. Obviously, I think we talked about it last week, but we've got now the Iron Tide questline at the Burning Crusade, at the Dark Portal. I know. Remember, AJ, you had done yours previous to the show.
Yeah.
Ethan, did you do yours already?
The what?
The Iron Tide questline at.
Oh yeah, I did them the first day like when you guys were all discussing. I already had it done. So.
Okay, Chris, did you do yours? Of course not.
No, dude, I'm an investment banker by day. I don't
Yeah.
got time for that.
All right, so I did mine a couple days ago.
Warrior by night.
No,
Shaman,
he's a
right?
shaman, you idiot.
Yeah, GK.
It was a Joe. Oh my god.
GK guild leader, get out.
Doesn't care about his people. Brady doesn't care.
Doesn't care. Get out. Don't trust him. But
Not at all.
so I did mine. Now, I want to start off by saying Blizzard also, I believe they said there was a blue post about people not receiving all the rewards that they were meant to. If you had done your quest previous to the hotfix, and they're trying to figure out how to get everyone the full rewards that they're meant to have. But I felt a little underwhelmed. I mean, I liked interacting with Khadgar and Murad. That was cool. But I don't feel like it was as cool as it should have been. I don't feel like it was one of those wow moments that it should have been. Like, when you see a character like that in the middle of your quest, I feel like you should be like, holy shit, is that Khadgar? Or is that Murad? Not like, oh, hey, Murad, give me another quest.
Well, I think if you look at like the amount of hotfixes they put out since the patch was released, which is like every day they're putting out not just like little fixes here and there, they're putting out like massive like buffs and nerfs. Mm-hmm. I don't think they were 100% ready to give us a ton of content right at the start. I think they're just going to give us a little taste because I think they're on such a time crunch to get it out that, I mean, obviously, like at this point, they shouldn't be balancing classes; they should be balancing raids.
Yep.
But like, they don't even know what they want to do with the DPS meters yet. They haven't even touched healing.
That they haven't, though. I do think some of the classes are starting to narrow down a bit. Like, we see a lot of these generic numbered nerfs and buffs to a lot of classes. They're increased by 20% or decreased by 25% or 15%. But I see now, like, Feral, they're getting their damage increased by 12%. And I guarantee that's probably like a larger decimal when you're going at 12%. Warriors, we got nerfed in Fury, Bloodthirst, Raging Blow, and Wild Strike by 17%. So I think with classes that they're starting to narrow down these exact numbers. I think they're starting to get them where they want to be.
I mean, monks are still number one and number two. Come on,
monks are still broken.
Monks.
They got buffed literally like almost all of their spells by 20%. Like Jab's damage, Blackout kicks damage, Rising Sun kicks damage by 20%, and those are those big three, and Tiger Palm too by 20%. Those are the big four, abilities that you're using as a Windwalker or Brewmaster Monk. I know shit all about Mistweaver, so don't talk to me about Mistweaver. They're reducing a lot of the damage from Demonology for Warlocks.
Tons. They flipped 100%.
Yeah,
they went from the best to the worst.
We built this group off of what we were going off the first hotfix, and we're like, all right, we got to get these classes in here. And now it's like, well, now these classes are kind of middle of the road, and then that class that we only have one of is top tier because hunters are doing really, really well right now. A Murder of Crows damage has been increased by 80%. 80 fucking percent.
I think they're like enough people
skyrocketing.
complained because I think no hunter was happy with how their class played.
Yeah, they were struggling, man.
So they're the squeaky wheel, so they get a bunch of grief. Same thing with monks. So they get, they got probably overcorrected, and they'll probably get one more hotfix that brings them back down kind of around to where anyone.
And then another one to exact it out.
I'll be curious if they keep the average DPS around this like 45 to 35 to 45k range. Because that doesn't feel very squished to me.
No, it doesn't. I think because it's meant to be like 9 to 12k DPS originally. Like that's what we were doing when those original meters came out, and that was at level 100 in like tier 17 normal gear. So like the fact that they jumped 30,000 damage on every class is kind of a bit ridiculous.
I mean, it is full tier 17, so I mean, these are geared players, but still,
That's a lot. That's a huge jump, and that just means that gear is going to be like super.
So in the second
Fine, I
rate
guess.
tier, when we're talking about tier 18, is it going to be 75, 80k?
And then
Then?
we're just going to end up at the end of the expansion back up at 1 million DPS.
Yeah.
No way. I can't see them doing something like that because, I mean, the DPS rankings you're seeing right now is tier 17 mythic. That's what you're supposed to expect to at full best of the best gear in the current content patch. I don't see them like even jumping past 15, 20k in the next patch. I see it being at like maybe in normal you'll be pushing 55k as like a top DPS, and then the mythic side you'll see 65k or 70k or something like that. But I don't think we'll ever come back to around that huge number limit ever again.
Okay.
And I guess it is fair to point out that these are patchwork fights. These are just standing there hitting a thing.
Right.
Yeah, I don't even think we'll even experience the numbers that are listed. I think we're going to be way
Realistically,
less
we'll
than
probably
those.
be in that 28 to 38 range, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere in there.
I'm surprised that. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Go
No, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
I was gonna say it is just kind of interesting because I do kind of tend to think more along the lines of what Rady just was talking about, because if you go back and you started vanilla, top DPS in vanilla was like, and this is like top best of the best, full tier 3, like all that shenanigans. That was like 700. That was it. 700
Nothing.
DPS was vanilla, right? Then you get to TBC, and by the time you get to Sunwell level gear, you're pushing out 3k. I mean, how much of a percentage increase are we talking there alone? Then you go to Wrath. You're talking. I mean, I don't remember what Wrath was by the end of it, but even when we were clearing Nax in our little 10-man guild, I was pushing out 6k or so on my hunter. Maybe that might be a little bit high, but that sounds about what I remember. So I mean, there were these large incremental increases. So maybe they're just planning on 2 or 3 patches, and then or 2 or 3 expansions, and then we're gonna have to stat switch again.
Okay. Yeah, I see where you're coming from. I mean, I don't know. I feel like Blizzard should still stray away from going to the big numbers, because the whole point of the stat switch was to stray from the big numbers. And I mean, how many raids did we get in this expansion? Let's see. Dungeon Journal miss raids. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 raids, right?
I mean, unless you count like Paris as its own raid tier, which isn't really.
Yeah, it's really kind of part of the that was the cap of the Mogashan balls, right? Like that whole raid tier was kind of all one thing. Heart of Fear up to.
I mean, really, there was three big ones.
Counting Heart of Fear, Mogashan Vaults, and Terrace Hall as one.
Yeah, it's kind of all because you get the raid gear. It's all the same tier level through all of that.
Right. Now, how big was the DPS gap between all quote-unquote 3 raid tiers? Like, how much damage were you doing at 522 item level?
Substantial. I mean, you're seeing 100k changes once you started switching gear based on the different content.
Which
So
is
Well, even take, I guess, even if you take binders, when I brought my mage over, just getting from, I started what, like 489 ish, because I power leveled him, and
Yep.
then just getting up to, he's at like 550 now, and he went from like, yeah, like 50k. Yeah, I guess you're right. Went from about 50k DPS to about just over 200.
right. Now,
So,
but
if
well,
we go ahead.
you have to understand that in this expansion too, these numbers, if they're big numbers already, they're going to jump big numbers. If they're small numbers, they're just going to jump through small numbers. It all depends on kind of where the statistics already are. And not to mention, this expansion has been out for an incredibly long time at this point, to a point where if they didn't add numbers and jumps like that, people would probably get bored of seeing the same old stuff. So definitely bored, especially with the length of this expansion. But you're not going to see. I already can tell. Like, you're not going to see the 100k jump. You're going to see the 10k jump, and that's why I said, like, you'll see these patches maybe jump up like an extra 15k. But even if they only jump up 10, 15k where they're at right now, they'll never even come near. They'll still be only at like an 80, 85,000 DPS maximum kind of thing. They'll never even touch the 100k marker. So.
well, and the other thing, the way they designed gear in this expansion, like this is the first time that everyone was guaranteed a legendary, and that thing, like the cloak for what it is, boosted everyone's DPS by a ton. So I don't. Yeah, you're right. You're not going to see a huge jump just within a tier itself, just because you now have your cloak. Like, hopefully, if they're going to, if I hope if they put out a legendary, which I believe they
The
are,
ring.
yeah, the
Yeah,
ring.
it's the ring.
I hope it's not going to, like, yeah, make it nice, but make it. I'd rather even see it have something nice and showy that it does, like some sort of special effect for your character, as opposed to it, giving you some mythic type combat ability like all the cloaks do now.
I mean, we'll have to see. I'm looking forward to the legendary. However, I mean, it kind of. I can understand Blizzard's point of making it so widely available to everyone and not having to go one person at a time, because you have to dedicate your whole raid group to getting that person, that piece. Because, not every player has that kind of time, but they still want to be able to get that legendary. Or, because otherwise they won't be able to get it until the next fucking expansion. Like, I'm just now getting Shadow. I just got Shadowmoor. I just got Sulfurous. I just got my Warglaives, all this shit. So, I mean, getting it during the tier is nice, but then you also have the people that kind of complain about the exclusivity of having the legendary to help them stand out as players. And I think personally, I think Blizzard went the right way with kind of making it widely available to everyone. I mean, like, who doesn't like having? I was actually hoping for a trinket. I think a legendary trinket would have been pretty sweet.
Right. No, and I get what you're saying, and I'm not saying go back to where we have one class specific, like the Warglaives back in TBC, where it was only usable by rogues and warriors. Like, I'm not, and it's off the last raid boss, so only 5 to 10% of your entire population even has a shot at it. Like, I'm not saying you have to go back that exclusive, but I'm saying instead of like the DPS cloak adds has basically a smart DPS. Like, it just does it for you. You don't even have to do anything other than what you were doing already, and your DPS goes up not because of nicer stats, but because of the fact that your cloak just does something for you automatically. And what I'm saying is, you take that, maybe the ring gives you, like, how all the cloaks have the little things that appear on it. They make you glow, and you get wings or whatever the case might be. Yeah, give us a visual like that. Give us some nicer stats, but keep the automatic DPS. Hey, you're just hitting a button and your DPS is going to go up because you have this cloak. Keep that out of it.
I agree. I'm looking forward to seeing what Blizzard does and what they decide to do. But I mean, regardless of what they choose, I'm pretty sure the majority of the community is just going to be behind their decision, because, like, when has Blizzard ever really, like, I think the only big fuck up was this entire expansion. But
So the last year and a half?
yeah, basically. I mean, like, I don't think there's ever been a point where they've really, like, majorly fucked up besides this expansion itself. Like, in all seriousness, like, this took, like, a huge... This, and I feel like a little bit of Cataclysm had something to do with it. I think it took, like, a huge chunk out of their player base.
my
Because
God,
of what the expansion was and what it was about. Because I think Deathwing, I think that expansion was just a filler, something to give us. Like, I feel like it wasn't even an expansion. I felt like it was just a content patch. I think it was that short. I felt like it was just a content patch, and I don't think the way we killed Deathwing was the way he should have gone out, because I feel like it was just too easy, and I feel like
Don't you mean the way Thrall killed Deathwing?
exactly. I don't feel like when we killed Lich King, we fucking killed the Lich King, but when we killed Deathwing, it was like, all right, he's dead, guys, let's go.
Congrats.
It wasn't the
And
end.
Dubs, the dragons aren't dragons anymore.
Right, and we also killed Ragnaros finally. So I mean, that was another huge thing that just didn't feel huge. And then this whole expansion, nobody really took seriously because fucking, I mean, it's pandas. Sure, like I personally, I thought it was pretty cool. I really liked the theme. Some of it was a little less than impressive. I feel like the fact that they kept Siege Orgrimmar out for like, you know, a year and a quarter was a terrible choice on their part. But I mean, hopefully they're not gonna fuck up that bad with the next X Pack. But I think it's definitely just got a much more interesting theme, and I'm looking forward to it like wholeheartedly because
Well, we'll see how many raids they put out. I mean, right now I think they're still talking about it only being a 2-tier expansion. But
seriously,
every other expansion has been at least a 3-tier.
At least a 3, yeah.
I think they kind of learned from the fact that they dragged this expansion on that maybe that's not the way to go anymore. Kind of just stick to a couple, put out some good content with it, and then move on from there.
Cataclysm, we had 6 raids. We had Dragon Soul, which was its own tier. We had Firelands, which was its own tier. I think Throne, Bastion were on the same tier, and then Blackwing Descent was like the opener, wasn't it not? I don't really remember. Like I said, I was a PvPer back then. And then you had Barret and Hold, which, you know, Barret and Hold. And
Well, I kind of think what the problem is, if you go back to older content, if you like really look at, TBC, or if you look at Wrath, what you had is you had these smaller raids that there was only like the Eye, and I didn't realize it, so I was going back and gathering tier 5 gear just to transmog. I didn't realize how small that instance was, or that raid was. There's only, what, 4 bosses in there? And I think
It's like Terrace now.
Yeah, it's like you had a bunch of these 1-2 boss raids, and then you had the one big epic one at the end. And I think what happened is everyone's like, oh, Black Temple, epic, sweet. Oh, Ice Crown Citadel, epic, sweet. So Blizzard took that and put these ridiculously long 18 boss raids in. And now it's like you get bogged down trying to, do all this stuff because there's so many bosses. I think maybe if they were to design it back where you only have 4 or 5 bosses in a raid, it'll feel more epic toward the end.
And that's kind of how they're going. If you look at Heimall, the first raid in Draenor, that's 7 bosses in the first one. And then Blackrock Foundry, when that gets released, is going to be 5. And then there's like 3 world bosses, and that's your first tier.
I think that's a good number too. I think that's a really, really good number because I mean it's something because a lot of even like top tier guilds I see them only raiding 2-3 times a week now during progression, like because I don't know, I feel like maybe people are just dedicating less time to the game, but when you're only raiding 9 hours a week, obviously especially us, we're gonna have to like get shit done. We need to be on the ball if we're only raiding 8 hours. So I mean, for us it makes it a little bit more manageable. So I mean, I don't think it's a bad decision, and not to mention that, especially with the new expansion, being a new expansion, we're gonna have so much more to explore and do. Like raiding is not gonna be the only thing we do now, because like I mean, half our guild only logs online to raid, and that's it. So like with all the new quests, with all the new zones, all the new characters to see. The garrisons, which is like the selling point for WoD for me, is like garrisons are awesome. I think they're incredible. I think they're gonna do tons for WoW. Which actually, before we continue, I actually want to ask you guys what your opinion is. Garrisons are meant to be our kind of foothold on Draenor. They're meant to help the Alliance and Horde solidify ourselves as like players helping the entire faction to make us feel like superheroes like we're supposed to be. It's supposed to get our foothold in Draenor. What are they going to do in the next expansions? Are they going to update it and do the same story like, all right, we need a foothold here, build another garrison? Are they going to just wipe our current garrisons and make us start from scratch? Are they going to take our garrisons out of Draenor and put them in Azeroth so we can just have our own little place? What do you think they're going to do?
No, I think this is content specific mostly. I think the garrisons that we see now, just like other expansions, how you see a lot of content specific stuff when you go into Outlands and different things like that, like Northern. I think all that's going to stay specific to Warlords of Draenor. Hopefully, I don't see. If they reuse it, maybe it'll be cool if they add some tweaks to it. But I don't think they'll reuse garrisons in the
I mean,
next
yeah, if
coming
you look at
expansions.
like now, the closest thing to it would be your farm in Half Hill, and that's the closest thing to a garrison that we have now. And are you gonna go back and farm every day?
No, but there's a difference between a farm that you just walked up to and did your daily quests in, and having your own fortress that you brought from a tent to a massive like stronghold on another planet in another time and like timeline and dimension or whatever you want to say. And you have like you're walking around and you've got all these NPCs saluting you like how you doing, commander, general, whatever the hell they call you, captain. And like the feeling that you get when you walk through there, like I loved messing around. That's all I did on the beta was just mess around in the garrisons. I think it's going to be a crucial part of the game, especially for those who don't have a lot of time to dedicate to the game, because you have the ability for your followers to collect gear for you or collect materials for you. So I think that's going to be like a pretty crucial part of the game for those who aren't going to be able to dedicate as much time as others. And I feel like if they're not going to put that into another expansion, and as big of a selling point as it was for WoD, I think they're gonna have a lot of upset people.
Well, one of the things AJ and I were actually talking about last week, I would like to see them take the garrison and maybe not necessarily put it into every expansion here out, but tie in some sort of like iPhone mini game or some little mini game that you can download to your cell phone, and maybe it's what's the last Assassin's Creed 4? Yeah,
Black
like
Flag.
Black Flag, when there's that mini game where you could send your ships all over the place to do different things for you. It'd be cool if it tied it in that way to your phone, so you're sitting there on your lunch break at work or while you're doing work, you can send your peons or your heroes, whatever, to go do things for you that it affects your in-game without you actually being at the game.
That'd be cool.
I don't
That'd
think
be
it'd
awesome.
be cool, but like I mean, at least
great
I,
idea,
I
right?
I was never the kind of guy to like interact with games. I think the only time I ever downloaded an app for a game that I was playing was GTA 5, so I could play with the dog, just because I thought he was adorable.
But yeah, I think you're sitting there. You're maybe out at school. You gotta go take a poop. Pull out your phone and send some followers on quests.
Do some
Yeah, and that
garrison work. Yeah.
I actually think that would be a nice addition. Maybe people don't just have a lot of the time as a lot of people in game. The rewards you get from these followers doing different objectives and stuff. I mean, you always have the chance of getting upgraded gear, more upgrades or supplies for your garrison, new followers, different things like that. So allowing a player to be not in the game but outside of the game, getting to experience or keep up with people who are experiencing it that maybe have that no life scenario where they could just play all the time. I think that would be a nice addition to this game, actually, if they added something like that just to kind of help those guys out. I mean, then it just sucks even more, and you're going to get those people who complain like, oh, I don't have a smartphone. God forbid, I don't know why you don't have a smartphone at this age and day. But, I mean, it would just...
The thing is, even try going and getting a cell phone plan now, not getting a smartphone. You can't do it.
Yep. But it would just... I think it would just help people out. It'd help the casuals out, kind of keep up with the more hardcore players. We might not ever see something like that. I might consider padding in it, but just having that on the side is my own little task. No, I'm just kidding. But it would just, I don't know. It would be cool to see new content on that side as well. I mean, they did Hearthstone, how it comes out for your iPhone and your iPad. If you see stuff like that, games that they're actually implementing in the game, but implementing on your smartphone, I mean, there's no way we won't see something related to our phones that will benefit us in Warlords of Draenor. I definitely see something coming.
I think you're actually bringing up a really good point. I think Blizzard really has turned WoW, because like from what I hear from Vanilla, it's like it was difficult. Like you had to give it all of your attention, and not everyone wants to do that the whole time that they're playing the game. And I think Blizzard's really turned it into one of those games that if you're not raiding or PvPing, it's you're just doing your questing and stuff like that. It's a game that you can really just have fun and enjoy while you're also doing something else. And I think with the addition of something like that for your phone, like you could be playing WoW or you could be playing Hearthstone on your phone or your iPad or something like that, and be sitting on the couch with the family watching TV, or it's something you could do while you pause your or you're like in between games of like Call of Duty or something like that. And I think it's like the smart way to go, because I feel like people would play more knowing that they, when you get on, you'll be able to still watch your Gossip Girls or whatever the fuck people watch nowadays while you play WoW.
Mostly
Gossip
gossip.
Girls only.
Mostly
Yeah, pretty
only
much
Gossip
only
Girls.
Gossip Girls.
I don't know why it came to mind. Leave me alone.
Well, and I think the other thing too is, being, especially, we're talking from the standpoint of a hardcore raid guild, but it's one of those things that WoW's got a lot more. WoW's been around a long time, and what people have access to and things, they have a lot more to compete with. And I think what will help is, so we're a hardcore guild, we're in a hardcore guild, so we're gonna research stuff and look at stuff and talk about WoW outside of it, even if we're not playing it. But I think there's a lot of fringe guys that they've kind of forget about, where those people were, I wouldn't necessarily call them casual, but they're not necessarily in a hardcore guild. They're the ones that get through maybe 1.5 tiers of content within it. But what things that can happen to them, they're the type of players that also really like Call of Duty or really like something outside of the game. And I think a little handheld game that, like you said, like in between matches of Call of Duty, you can check in and see how your followers are gathering new materials or something, so they feel like they're still accomplishing things in game. And then if they can do something, if like you send them out and they can put together a new helm for you or whatever the case might be, now it gives you a reason to log back into the game maybe more often than you would otherwise.
We're just giving gold away, Blizzard. We're just giving it away.
Seriously, Blizzard. Sponsorship, Blizzard.
Let's go, Blizzard. At this point, let's go.
All right. So what were we? What the hell was our conversation just about?
About the garrisons, I do think the one thing that they're going to continue on with the garrisons into further expansions is the professions, the profession leveling. So you don't have to have a blacksmith in order to get blacksmithing gear. You don't have to be a blacksmith to get blacksmithing gear, etc. I think that's going to open up a lot of people to, new gear and new resources that they didn't have an option for. That I think that's going to be something that they're not going to be able to get rid of.
No, that's. I'm glad that you brought that up. I think that also brings up another point, an argument, if you will, that a lot of people make when it comes to talking about garrisons. The people that are not, for garrisons, is because it kind of deviates from keeping the player base in the main cities where you generally are. Like Orgrimmar was always packed back in the day, or Shattrath was always packed, or Dalaran was always packed, or Stormwind was always packed, and now Shrine is packed. So, having your own place to hang out, while it's cool, I think it's obviously like a good point that your server is almost going to feel empty, because who's not going to be sitting in their garrison all day? If your garrison can do everything that your capital city can do, why the fuck wouldn't you just be at your garrison, the thing that you could just hearth to all the time? Obviously, you could do that to the other city, but to your capital city, but at your garrison, it's yours. Why would you not want to spend as much time as you can there?
I do think that's one of the biggest disappointments to me in the expansion is when they dropped the capital cities.
Did they?
Yeah, because the Alliance City was going to be what the Black Temple is now.
Right.
Temple, that was the Alliance City.
Okay.
But it's not anymore.
And then the Hordes, I think, was going to be in Frostfire.
Frostfire Ridge, right.
So I thought the idea of that being the capital city, the Black Temple, you've seen parts of it before, but here it is all not evil. I think that would have been awesome. So when they scrapped that idea I think there'll be hubs. There's a couple hubs, but they're not a main city. And then your garrison. It's a bummer. I think there's a big social aspect of just standing around Stormwind.
I think it's
People walk by.
back.
That's going to be lacking.
I think it's because they've realized that everyone's just going to spend all their time in garrison. So why put in all the time that they're going to need to fix this city up and get it to what it needs to be? So I don't know. It's hard to know what Blizzard's really thinking all the time.
See, the one
Right.
caveat to the whole sitting around in your garrison thing, though, is the whole reason why they're bothering to make mythic armor different is so I can go walk around in Stormwind and show everyone my cool mythic armor and haha, look at you, you LFR raider. That's part of the reason why they're making it the way they're making it, and making it a point to give you different armor. I mean, that's how back in the day you knew who the good guilds were. You looked, you're like, oh my god, that guy's rocking tier 3, and he's in such and such guild. So one of the things I do think they could do, and this was talked about, I remember this being a rumor way back in vanilla early TBC, was they were talking about guild, like guild bases, for lack of a better way, a guild garrison, for lack of a better way to put it, where the guild could save up gold by, and it used to be, the idea was it could be anywhere on Azeroth. So, but maybe they could just tether it to the main cities. So kind of like the farm works now, except only except instead of it being my personal area, the entire guild can show up and go there, which might be a way to get people back in the main city.
Maybe. I mean, I'm down to show shit off. Like, when we're top tier, like, I want to show my shit off. So, I mean...
Bring back
It's gonna
Ironforge,
RP
too.
walk everywhere. That's all I'm gonna do is RP walk.
RP
Yeah.
walk.
Well, I mean,
Everywhere.
you're McShield. You just have to RP walk. Like, while we raid, he RP walks, guys. I'm telling you. Matter of fact, if you guys want to, we'll be streaming the live raids tonight at 9:30 is when we'll be starting. We'll be going until 12:30. Yesterday, we cleared 16 bosses in Siege of Elgamar on Heroic, and then 2 bosses on Mythic before we ended the night. So yesterday was a really, really good night, and tonight I'm looking forward to hopefully at least the same, if not better, performance from everybody.
I want to hear more praise from our GM. Go ahead and talk about how good we did.
Let us
You
know.
guys suck. Don't worry about it.
I'm
I'm
out.
just kidding. No, it was really like last night was a really good night. I mean, I don't think I have to go into too much depth, but for
No,
anyone,
please.
No,
Deep-
go ahead. We have
deeper.
time. We'll we'll extend.
no, I mean, let's talk about some other topics that I have up on this list, but just in general with the raids that we experienced throughout Flex, I mean, it offers a lot more variety. I mean, if you have a group of good gear guys and you have some friends that are maybe lacking that you want to take to your raids,
Bring 'em.
it offers that. Yeah, it definitely offers that kind of freedom to have those players come in, even if they die early in the fight or anything like that. You could still pull through. Flex isn't too crazy. Mythic surprised me. Yesterday was actually our first day of Mythic content. First day since the patch. I really didn't expect it to be like what it was. I didn't know where they were going to go, if the 20-man was going to be more towards the 10-man kind of content or the 25-man content with the additional add-ins that they add based on the size of the raid. But, I mean, I think I'm not 100% sure yet because we've only actually dove into 2 bosses based on the 30 minutes we had at the end of the night left. But with everything we've seen, I mean, it kind of looks like they're going to give us the both best worlds, but kind of lessen that in a sense to make it a bit easier. I mean, compared to the fights that we've done on both 25-man and 10-man heroic prior to the patch, it was pretty easy. I'm liking the new changes with the different classes, how healers are feeling more specifically like healers and not just discipline priests nuking the boss and healing everyone with tons of damage. And the stat squish, I'm feeling like I'm enjoying the game more with this stat squish. It's nothing like those huge numbers again where I'm seeing people compete with DPS. No one really knows where they stand right now, so everyone's just really focusing on getting bosses down, and that kind of excited me as well. So, I mean, we had a good raid night, and I like the changes that they added so far to the game with everything that came.
I actually like the way you said that everyone, rather than, because of how uncomfortable we are, that, they're really not trying to focus on damage. They're trying to stay alive and just fight the boss and get it down. I think that's really something that we're going to have to focus as a group to do in the next expansion, is that we need to just focus on killing the boss rather than our own single performance. Because, I mean, obviously I'm guilty of it too. It's just trying to eke out as much DPS as I can and beat the next person. Sure, the competitiveness is nice when you're in farm mode, but it comes to a point where, like, if you're sacrificing raid mechanics to get more DPS, that's something that we cannot do. And I think that was actually like a good way to put it, is that we really did focus on just downing the bosses last night. But like I said, we're going to be raiding tonight at 9:30. I'll probably throw up the stream for us. And we're actually getting close to our time for the night. For this at least. If you guys came in late and you guys want to watch it again, or if you guys want to watch it again rather, I'll be uploading it to our YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/#progression. Should be up there in about a half hour or so. Is there anything you guys like to say as we're closing up here?
I'm excited to go tonight. It's
yeah.
Raid Week Wednesday.
Yeah, it is.
I'm definitely looking forward to more Mythic content tonight to see what's to come.
And I'd also like to say we are now 2 views closer to a
Channel
million
edited.
views on YouTube. Currently at 37. So I mean, we're getting there. 37.
The
37,
sprint to 1 million is on.
37 people watch 1 hour 57 minutes and 35 seconds of us talking. So
Sorry about that.
I apologize. So this one will not be as long and hopefully more content filled, less jibber jabber and bullshit. So, and if you guys have any comments, questions, feel free to let us know in the chat. Comment on the YouTube videos. Reach us in game if you guys want to hop on Trollbane. We're on the Alliance side, United States servers. The guild's called #Progression. And thank you guys again. I'm Mindress. There's Rady, McShield, and Sake for you guys. We'll be back next Wednesday with episode 3 of Raid Week Wednesday for you guys. You guys have a great night.
Have a nice night, guys.
Goodbye.
See you.